Ford is celebrating its latest NASCAR championship with a new NASCAR car. So we recently took a look at the new Chevrolet race car that's going to be competing in the NASCAR Brazil Series next year. The NASCAR Sanctioned Series has redesigned its cars to a new formula that's going to be launching in 2026. They're different from the NASCAR cars that race in the United States. They have 360 horsepower V6 engines, but are very high-tech, carbon fiber bodies, double wishbone suspensions, and 6-speed paddle-shifted transmissions. They mostly race on road courses in Brazil, and the Chevrolet, which looks like the old Chevrolet Camaro that's no longer in production, races against the Ford Mustang, which is still in production, and of course they have a new car in Brazil as well. It's the same deal as the Camaro, carbon fiber bodywork, and looks pretty much just like the Mustang it replaces, which former Formula One driver Rubens Barrichello drove to the championship in the series this year. So congratulations to him and Ford. Ford also has 3 Mustangs that are still in contention for the NASCAR Cup Series championship this year, with Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and Austin Cindric of Team Penske all still in the playoffs as of today, and looking to score the brand's 4th consecutive Cup Series championship. Now, the Cup Series Mustang was last redesigned in 2024 to look more like the new Mustang Dark Horse model that launched that year. Prior to that, it was new when the next-gen car launched in 2022. Ford's not expected to give it another big redesign for a couple of more years. So while there is a new Chevrolet coming in 2026 to the Cup Series, we're going to be seeing the same Mustang racing then. But why do we even see the Mustang racing in all these series these days? It's in NASCAR, NASCAR Brazil, it's in IMSA and the World Endurance Championship. That's because Ford sells it all around the world, even in Brazil. And in fact, it's the best-selling 2-door sports car in the world right now. It's not to say it's the big seller it used to be. It's not the people's pony car anymore. Ford will be lucky to sell a little more than 40,000 in the United States, maybe 65, 70 worldwide in 2025. So why does it put so much effort into it? Well, that's because while it has lifted it upscale a little bit, it's still a bargain compared to the sports cars it competes with in other countries, especially V8 powered sports cars. There aren't that many out there that aren't in the exotic rank, so the Mustang itself seems exotic in these other countries. Having it on the track helps promote that brand. And of course now Ford's gone as far as to introduce the Mustang GTD with its 815 horsepower supercharged V8 and a $327,000 price tag, and it's pretty much sold out. Whether or not people are buying them for the performance or the collectability, Ford doesn't care. There's definitely a market for this sort of thing, and Ford's looking to do more of it, not just with the Mustang, but with other models. Ford CEO Jim Farley's been talking about doing a high-performance, exotic off-road vehicle in the coming years that would probably leverage its Raptor brand. In fact, speaking of Formula One, Ford just signed former Formula One driver Daniel Ricciardo to become the brand ambassador for its high-performance trucks. I know it's kind of weird, Formula One guy selling trucks, but he spent a lot of time living in America, has actually owned Ford F-150 Raptors himself. So there is some of what you call authenticity there, plus he's just known to be a fun guy that likes to have a good time. But this isn't to say Ford has completely abandoned the idea of a Mustang for the masses. In fact, it has a couple of new ideas that might be in the works. Jim Farley reportedly told dealers recently that there's a 4-door Mustang in development, or at least asked them if they thought that was a good idea. Believe it or not, back in the 1960s, Ford built a 4-door Mustang prototype. Obviously never went into production, but even then, it was thinking about going in that direction. And of course, since then, we've seen the Mustang name put onto the Mustang Mach-E electric SUV with a fair amount of success. And when that first came out, there were a lot of people who resisted it, but it's actually become one of the better selling electric SUVs. We'll see if it continues to be now that the federal electric vehicle tax credit is gone, but it doesn't sound like the 4-door model was intended to be an electric vehicle, which would put the Mustang in even more direct competition with the new Dodge Charger that's available as a 2-door and a 4-door. And if we back up a couple of years to 2023, when the Dodge Challenger and the last generation Dodge Charger were on sale, they combined to outsell the Mustang by quite a bit, because that four-door just offers more utility. And the new one's not just a four-door, it's a hatchback. So in a world where people love their SUVs, it's kind of an SUV. Now, we haven't heard if the four-door Mustang would be a sedan or a liftback hatchback like the Charger. But of course, Ford used to make hatchback Mustangs back in the Fox body era. I owned one myself. I loved it. I used that thing like a pickup truck. And I was very sad when the next generation came along and wasn't available as a hatchback. Kind of blew my mind. Why would they not do that? And I know the notchback coupe before that, and it wasn't nearly as useful. I remember packing a giant TV into the back of that thing. And I'm not talking about one of today's flat screens they could slip in anywhere. I mean one of the old, big, giant 27-inch boxes. And it was great. Couldn't do that with most sports cars. We have to go borrow somebody's SUV or truck. And that's the point of bringing that utility into the sports car space to save the sports car space. You just don't get people buying personal coupes anymore. And not just because automakers don't make them, automakers stop making them because people start buying SUVs and pickup trucks. So I think the more you can make your mainstream affordable sports car like one of those, the better. But there's even a more extreme idea floating around that combines the Mustang with the Raptor and turns a Mustang into an off-roader. It's another thing dealers have been hearing about and would essentially be Ford's version of the Porsche 911 Dakar or the Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato, but hopefully for a lot less than that and a lot less than the Mustang GTD. I could definitely see this as being hit if it was priced more like a GT or at least a dark horse. And think about it, the Mustang going off-road, finally. I mean, sure, back in the 60s, Ford launched the Bronco to do that. Mustang was for the street, but you know, Mustangs were free-roaming horses. And I guess it's cool to see the Mustang inspiring all these different ideas. I mean, if Ford's only gonna have one car in its lineup and the Mustang is its last car, might as well make the most of it. Because if there's one thing it's unlikely to do, it's bring back other cars. You're never gonna see a Fusion or a Taurus again. I'd say every car it makes from here on out in the United States is gonna have the Mustang name on it in one way or another. We recently tested the Mustang Dark Horse with a manual transmission, no less. Check that out in this video up here. And the next big Ford Mustang development will be happening on October 15th when it finally fully reveals the Mustang RTR that it teased at the Detroit Auto Show earlier this year. This is a collaboration with Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s RTR vehicles. Vaughn's a friend of American Cars and Racing and a Ford racing driver who does drifting, Ultra 4 off-roading, and builds his own aftermarket RTR models like the latest Spec 5 Mustang, which has an 870 horsepower V8 and a fully customizable suspension. You can turn into a drift car, a track car, a street car, set it up any way you like. As far as the factory Mustang RTR is concerned, the only thing we really know about it is that instead of being based on a V8 Mustang, it uses the EcoBoost turbocharged 4-cylinder, which is kind of a first for Ford. I mean, aside from the fact that this is Ford's first collaboration with an outside tuner since the Carroll Shelby days, it really hasn't done a focused high-performance turbocharged Mustang since the Mustang SVO of the 1980s. So this could be very interesting. We will have all the details about that car for you on October 15th. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe and check back with American Cars and Racing then and every day for the latest Ford and Mustang news.